boxing, you need opinions, doesn't it? But people get too sensitive if they think, oh, he doesn't like me.
You're saying that,
doesn't like me, doesn't like me. Like, oh wow, like, don't hurt my feet. No, if someone thinks you're just say it. This B-side,
there ain't a B-side or an A-side.
This B-side room is awful.
He's got a room just there as well. Yeah. Not this one, but just along here.
The B-side
There's no B or A.
B-side room. We had Haribo's and coffee last
neutral
time.
sides.
Poor management.
What do you want?
How you doing, Josh?
What's that with you? Oh, don't fucking say that.
They're all a little bit temperamental and a little bit sensitive, so who knows what's going to go on in there.
Oh yeah, the British public are ready for this, and we'll finally be getting to see the much anticipated rematch of Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall on April the 27th in Leeds. But the two of them have been engaged in a bitter war of words since their first meeting back in February 2022. Many believe that Catterall outboxed Taylor that night and should have won after scoring a knockdown in the 8th round. But Josh Taylor was handed a controversial split decision win, and now they do it again. Now then, Simon and I and Danny live on talkSPORT. I have never seen this place so busy, and this is for real. So we are in studio. And we have so many people the other side of the glass, on the other side of the studio here. We have so many people in this studio. I've never seen it so busy. And I mean it. This is for real. If you're watching on Twitter and YouTube, we have a security man there. This is Phil. We have a gentleman back here. And we have camera crews as well. Simon's to my right. Danny's to my right. Jack Catterall's to my left. Phil, the security man, is there. And Josh Taylor is to my left as well.
Spencer's out there in case it goes off, Jim.
Spencer Oliver, the diminutive Spencer Oliver, is ready at any time to come in.
Oh, that's reassuring. And
come to our rescue if this gets feisty. So, Josh Taylor, let's start with you. This rivalry, I saw you up in Edinburgh, and I saw you yesterday in Manchester, and you were going at it, the two of you. And you've got very uncomplimentary things to say about Jack. Do you stand by them?
Yes. Yes. To answer your question, yes, I do stand by them, yes.
Why do you dislike him so much?
It's not that I dislike him, I don't know the guy to dislike him or not, but he just comes across as what I've said, yes. I've repeated it and I stand by it, yeah.
Jack, do you dislike Josh?
Yeah. He's said a lot of things over the last couple of years. It's been back and forth and we don't see eye to eye, we're not friends, and yeah, I stand by the stuff that I've said.
You still maintain that you should have been given the nod and it's your hand that should have been raised first time around, Jack?
Yeah, 100%. But again, we're 2 years on from that, and finally we're sat here now when we get the chance to settle it in April.
Would you have been, if he'd have been a bit more complimentary after the fight, because it wasn't his fault, the judges scored it to you, of course, do you think you'd have the bad blood still if you got a bit more respect?
Yeah, of course. I've never said it was down to Josh. I think the stuff he said after the fight didn't help his cause. No matter what he'd have said after the fight, I'd still feel like I won the fight, and but ultimately the fact how he went about it has ultimately got us in this position, or in a stronger position to fight again.
I know, Simon, you've had your own thoughts on it. Josh, you didn't like, I don't think, what Simon said, because you thought...
No, can I stop you there?
Go on.
No, actually, it's the complete opposite. Like, I don't care what people's opinions are of the fight. If they thought Jack won or I won, I couldn't really care. That's their opinion. People are entitled to it. So I think I saw you saying something the other day that I'm a bit sensitive and all that. It's completely the opposite way. Like, if you thought Jack won and people thought that he won, that's cool. Like, that's your opinion of the fight. That's cool.
Well,
I've got absolutely no problems with that at all.
That's how it should be, because it would seem in this space, in the boxing space, that anyone that doesn't give praise, all of a sudden people start sulking and getting a bit.
That's not the case with me. That's not the case.
Good, because I do think Jack won that first fight.
Yeah, it's good.
And I do think that the scoring was abhorrent, and I'm glad that you two guys are getting back in the ring, because I think it's a great fight. I'm not interested in all the sort of handbags at dawn that you two want to get involved in. That sells fights and theatrics. I'm interested in two fighters putting on a fight that has an outcome that doesn't have any controversy. You know, that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in some proper scoring, because I think the scoring in the first fight was appalling. That's why that judge is no longer scoring anymore. I couldn't make a case in the first fight for Jack winning that fight based upon your performances and where I thought you were as a fighter. But I couldn't make a case after the fight for you having won it. But that's all incidental now. What it is now is the interesting and the fascinating thing is it feels like a Froch Groves sort of encounter, but it doesn't, because there's something in the middle of the room that confuses me, which is your loss against Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. That's what worries me in this fight for you, because I would say, with all due respect to you, Jack, that there are levels, and I would expect Josh, who I didn't think didn't seem to be as focused in the right way in the first fight, and I would have anticipated him to be better in the second fight. But I worry now, and it confuses me about where this fight will go, and that's why it's so fascinating. Yeah, because despite the observations that you and I had a back and forth about me saying to you, which is where our back and forth came, which is, are you going to fight this fella? Because really and truly, the reasons why you're fighting him is because it's an itch you got to scratch, because you know that this is a problem.
Well, I think where the back and forth come from, you're like, are you going to fight him next?
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
because I wanted you to say yes or no, because you guys say one thing and do another. Not you particularly, but fighters ad infinitum.
Yeah, well,
and I'm glad that you're here.
I said, yes, I'm going to fight the guy, but right now I can't. I've got my mandatory to take care of.
Lopez,
yeah.
Is it fair to say, though, Josh, you underestimated Jack first time round? You didn't think he'd be so good as he was on the night?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I made the worst mistake that you can do in the art of warfare, which is underestimating your opponent, and that's what I've done. You know, the level of success that I had in such a short period of time. You know, it was like Jack and I had made a deal prior, like, if I win the fight, I'll give you the shot first, and that's what we've done. And it was like, Jack hasn't boxed anyone, he hadn't really beaten anyone of significance. You know, I thought that Harry Davis beat him, as the majority of other people did as well. You know, he's laughing, you know, but that's my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion as well. And, you know, I just thought, he's not my level, and I get myself fit, and, you know, I'll turn up and win as long as I'm fit. And that's the worst mistake that I made. Sure. You know, so I've learnt from mistakes. You know, I thought, you know, obviously on the way up, leading up to becoming world champion, I learnt for these past fighters that did do that, and I thought, I'll never do that. You know,
and do you think,
I was only human and made that mistake.
That's good of you to say that. Do you think you'll be even better this time, Jack?
100%. I think I'm getting better as a fighter. I think he says when he probably overlooked me. I don't think that's the case. He said all the things before the fight. I'm not overlooking him. He said all the right things. I think it's a bit of a cop-out excuse that he overlooked me.
Things that you've got to say. I'm not going to exactly say,
oh, no, I'm looking Ramirez, and I think he's coming back down.
I'm looking at someone else when that's what I was doing. I've got to say, yeah, you've got my full focus. Got to say things like that.
I think he touched the ceiling with Ramirez, and I think I beat him, and I think since then he's been on the decline.
So how do you rate him at the moment, Jack?
I think after April the 27th, Josh Taylor retires.
You'll retire him that night?
100%.
What do you think when you hear that? Now, he's being serious.
I mean, he's been serious.
There's no mucking about here. He's being serious. Is that crossing your mind? If he beats me, it might be over for me.
No, not one bit, because I know he ain't going to beat me. And I won't be retiring if he does win anyway. There's still some fights out there.
And that's what he said earlier on today. He's thinking about the options once he gets beat, but I honestly believe this is his final fight, and then he's finished.
Yeah, okay.
Why are we doing this dance at 140, Josh? Conventional wisdom looks at you and thinks two performances against him and against Teofimo Lopez. Yeah. And the intelligence suggests that you're struggling to make that weight, and that's what's contributing to these performances.
That's a consensus, is what people think I'm struggling to make the weight.
Asking you. I'm putting it to you what people are suggesting. I don't struggle to make the weight.
No? You've said that for the last 2 years, that you've been... Before the fight with me,
this
was your last fight at 140.
I never prepared properly the last time.
Are you fighting him at 140 because you feel that you have to? Because if you don't fight him at 140 and you fight him at 142 and 143, everyone goes, that's a cop-out.
No, I'm doing it at 140 because I know that I can do the weight. Yeah. I know that when I win the fight again, I'm in the picture for world title fights again. Mm-hmm. And also him, if he wins, he gets in the picture to fight for a world title. I'm doing it because I know I can make the weight. People are saying I'm washed at the weight, this and that. I know I'm not. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing it. You know, so, yeah, we can speculate and have all these accusations and saying I'm washed. That's cool. Everybody can say what they want. I really don't care. I know my body, and I know what happened in the lead up to the last fight. Yeah. You know, there was factors as to why the legs went, but there's no point in saying it. It happened. I went in with the fight because I felt good. I felt I had the best of preparations to the best of my ability with the limitations that I had. So I went into the fight feeling good, fit and strong. I just wasn't good enough on the night. I had a bad performance, and in with a genuine world class fighter, you get beat. You know,
Jack,
and if I turned up like
Josh,
that,
we're going to head to a break. But as we head to the break, Jack, you say you'll retire him. What do you do in the night then in Leeds in April? Do you stop him? Do you knock him out?
Yeah, I believe I can knock him out 100%. I think he's on the decline. I don't think his body's built for it anymore. He's had a great career, but his body's took a lot of punishment. He's 33 now, and we've seen over the last 2 years the injuries, the foot, the ankle, the eye. His body seems to be deteriorating, and I think when I get my hands on him in April and I give him the beating that I can't wait to give him, I think it shuts his body down completely.
Is your body breaking down, Josh?
if that's what you want to think, that's what you want to think. Injuries can happen to anyone. Injuries can happen to anyone at any time. Doesn't matter what age you are. You know, like your body goes through a whole lot in training camps, and sometimes you've got to listen to it. Sometimes it over pushed the little niggles and it created injuries. Like, it can happen to anyone. So say what you want.
You're going to stay with us until 1 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break. Do we need all this? Do we need Phil, the security guy, and this security man, and this?
I don't think so.
Are we
But
safe
this
in
guy
here with
keeps
just
trying
the
to lift
two
his
of you?
hands. This guy keeps trying to lift his hands.
We
He's
addressed
not
this
very
this morning.
professional,
You
you
raised
know.
your hands first on Monday. You tried to touch me.
No, I just felt your little
So
chippy
just
tits
let
because
you know
you're
that
quite
you don't
chubby.
intimidate me. Stand down.
Just says there's your little chippy tits because you're quite chubby.
It is Wednesday lunchtime. It's Jim White and it's Simon Jordan and it's Danny Murphy. And it's also Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. You probably want that the other way around, do you, Jack? It's Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother
we've
you,
got the
mate.
fight on now. It can...
Okay, these two go head to head in Leeds on April the 27th. Jack Catterall out to avenge, he hopes, the defeat he suffered at the hands of Josh Taylor. Controversial or not, 2 years ago. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, many of you are doing that. Everybody's having their say in this. So watching, Phil in the middle there, the security fella, Jack's right beside me here, and Josh is here. And so many are saying your views, just looking at the two fighters, there's Sean in Liverpool. I'm no body language expert, but Taylor looks up for this more than Catterall does. I might be wrong, but Taylor for me will take this fight. There's Dom who's watching it saying, I like how cool and calm and collected Jack Catterall is. He'll be the same on the night and he'll take Taylor all day long. Do you have a wry smile, Josh, when you hear the opinion of fans at this particular point? Do you just think, yeah, well, think what you like?
Yeah, exactly. Think what you want. Really, you know, it's irrelevant and it makes it exciting for the fans and people getting engaged. So yeah, it's good.
Is his coolness getting under your skin?
No, I'm pretty cool and relaxed myself, to be honest.
Do you think he is, Jack?
Jim, I was going to ask Jack actually. You know, like because he is normally quite cool, but
He ain't been very cool
No,
the last
that's
couple of days.
But that's what I was
Has he?
going to say. Can you go into a fight too angry? Is that possible? Where
Yeah,
you
I think
lose
everybody can, but I think when it comes to it, it's a business move. It's a fight. I'm not going to let my emotions affect my actions in the ring. I think that's a stupid thing to do. I think I gave him a clip yesterday
It
because
affected you yesterday. I
he
apologise
come
for
in
the
and give me
bad,
some
the bad
crayons.
gift, but I've
But
got one
listen,
here for
it's
you.
all part and parcel
What
of
are we,
selling the
A
fight.
wee teddy bear for you.
Oh, thank
Hey,
you.
this one's name's Chippy. And
Chippy.
it's for your nickname.
I'll take this
Chippy
home
Tits.
and we'll
That's
do
you
something.
can have that for sparring. You can have a good cuddle
rip
and
its
a
arms
good
and legs
cuddle
off
and all
and,
that of it in bed. You
we'll
know,
call it
practice
Josh
your
Taylor
cuddling and stuff.
and it'll be finished April the 27th. I'll send it back
There's a nice
in the
little
post.
thoughtful gift for you.
You changed your view of him as a fighter because I think when you went into the first fight, I watched the gloves were off. I watched you and your engagement with him. He was beneath you as far as you were concerned.
Yes.
And that's the mentality that you should have as an elite fighter. But given the performance he put on against you, whether you agree or don't agree is irrelevant, right? But have you changed your view on him as a fighter?
Not really at all. No.
Even after that first fight?
Yeah, because I don't think he was that great in the first fight. You know, I thought his tactics weren't very good, and the judges
He
obviously
dropped you,
thought so
Josh.
too.
He dropped
I
you.
know
in the
he
eighth.
dropped me, but so what?
How many times did you get dropped?
So what?
Nothing. That makes no difference to you.
Nah, like so what?
Okay.
I thought I was winning that round, but they did do that. I was winning the round. I got up, I won the rest of the round, but it goes down as a 10-8 on the judges.
Does it irritate you? I mean, listen. He deserves respect because he stepped.
Yeah,
aside,
like, listen, I do respect the guy. Like, he's a good fighter. I do respect him. I'm not going to sit here and I hate the guy and like I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone. So yeah, like I just didn't think his tactics were great that night. Like, you know, he carried out his tactics to a certain extent well, but the judges didn't like his tactics, which was spoil and hold.
I don't know about that.
So this is all nonsense then, Josh, is it? You don't hate him. And Jack, you don't hate him.
As we've said it all week and they've logoed it. Hate runs deep, but hate's a strong word, and
Well, certainly
I'm not
this
that attached to him to hate him.
You just
Certainly
like
there's
him.
He's
certainly
irrelevant to me.
dislike. You know, I wouldn't be going to the pub for a happy hour with him. That's for sure.
Why have you
As he
taken,
keeps saying.
Josh, why have you taken? I know why he's taken this fight, because he feels the injustice of it, right? And it's probably the agenda that he's put behind it, and the steam and the energy that he's put behind it, and Sam Jones and all that's gone with that to get this fight on. Why have you taken it?
I'm taking it because I want to fight him and put
You
all the
beat him
doubt.
in your mind, didn't
Put the doubt. Yeah, I still thought I won the fight.
Right.
Yeah, I still think I won the fight. I did just enough to win it. I've said it in multiple interviews after the fight. It could have gone either way. You know, I was actually thinking, with the point it got taken off for myself, oh, this could be a draw here. But I certainly never thought I lost.
Right.
You know, but if I'd went to him by a point or two, then fair play. But I wouldn't have had all this crying and whinging and carrying on like what they did.
But
You know,
before the
That's a bit
verdict
unfair.
came, Josh,
But,
was
you know,
there not a
listen-
tiny bit of doubt in your mind as you stood in that ring? I think he's done me here.
no,
Not
No.
the tiniest bit.
no.
Did you expect your hand to be raised, Jack?
100%. And when he says no, you can tell that he's gone that far with this lying to himself. He can't say anything other than he thought he won the fight.
So he robbed you, Jack.
He didn't rob me, and I can't blame Josh for that. I think the stuff he said after the fight, the way he carried himself, wasn't great, but it wasn't Josh, it was the officials, the judges who were scoring the fight. So
What do
I
you
don't
expect-
point at
with
Josh and blame
with
him.
respect, Jack, what do you expect him to say? If he thinks he won the fight, irrespective of what everyone else thinks, right? What do you expect him to say about you and the fight? Do you expect him to bow down and give you some sort of reverence?
No, definitely not.
So-
What it was after the fight, he was that quick to react and say, I won the fight, and you've seen the post-fight press conference, he was like a little rabbit holding on to it, and it's like he almost didn't believe it, but he was just falling out
What
of
do
his
you
mouth
expect me to
repeatedly,
say?
and then the
Just to
months after
please
the
you?
fight.
Yeah, I thought you won the
No, I
fight.
don't
Just
expect
to
you to please
or
me, but I
other
expect you
people,
to
Just cheers to
understand
my
how
head.
boxing works, be honest to yourself, and I think you went that far with it, you had to hold on to it, and ultimately it's led us back to him.
That far with what? Saying that I thought I won the fight?
Yeah, but you didn't believe it.
Okay, right, if that's what you think, okay.
So take it fast forward then to April the 27th. So Josh, you can have your say. How do you go about the job in hand on the night?
Listen, I'm not going to say what we're planning and what we're thinking and what we're doing, but I win the fight. Me fully focused and the way I'm tuned in now, I win the fight.
You win the fight.
I win the fight.
Josh,
No doubts in
how
my
do you
mind.
go about it?
I'm always focused.
Tell him how you're going to go
I'm
about
always
it.
focused, and I know what I've got to do. I've shared the ring with him once. I expect a fully fit, fully strong, fully prepared Josh Taylor, like I did last time. But I've stayed in the gym, I've been improving, and I'm going to beat him convincingly in April.
Are either of you terrified, secretly terrified of losing this?
No, because I ain't going to lose. Doesn't cross my mind.
I don't think about losing. I work too hard every day, and I take that confidence from being in the gym and preparing and looking after myself that I don't think about losing to him.
Do you want to be brave here? Who wins it?
My gut feel says Josh Taylor, because I'm a huge admirer of his. I've seen his body of work, and I think the best version of Josh Taylor beats the best version of Jack Catterall. But I don't know if we've got the best version of Josh Taylor left. I think the last two performances, unless there's a sea change, I think there's a distinct possibility that Jack will beat him. But I think it's a pick'em, and I think that's the intrigue, and there's jeopardy, and there's bad blood, not hatred. That's theatricals.
Yeah.
There's bad. They're in one another's way, right? And they want to get out of one
correct,
another's
yeah.
way. And I think it's going to be a great fight, and whoever wins, you know, is going to deserve it. And I hope we don't get any stupid refereeing scoring like we did in the last round, because anyone who scores that first fight 117, 112 needs to have a good look at themselves, and even
Or
you
any
would say that,
injuries.
Josh.
I was
Don't
one
need-
of the scorecards was 117.
117, 112. John Lewis
it?
scored it 117, 112,
Yeah,
and
that is what,
that's
yeah.
poor, innit?
Yeah, there. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can answer that, Josh, before we go. Have we still to see the best of you?
I believe so, yeah. You know, I've had a couple of bad performances, one due to the one with him, and then the next one. But that I prepared to the best of my ability that I had with Teofimo Lopez. You know, I'm not going to have any excuses, because what's the point in saying why the legs went? What's the point? The legs went. I went into the fight. I felt good on the lead up to the fight. I just wasn't good enough on the night. I never turned up on the night. But yet, the best is still yet to come.
By the way, Jack
I will
was
believe
brilliant.
another.
Jack was brilliant in that fight with Josh Taylor. So let's not take
Yeah.
that away from the equation.
Yeah, and you'd admit that. He
I
was
don't think it
brilliant.
was that great.
Oh, he was, Josh.
I
What
don't
do you
think it
bring
was.
this time, Jack?
I didn't think
you
you'd
can
do
finish it.
that well.
Yeah, I think I've got to build on that performance. I can't leave it to the judges, and I've got to beat him more convincingly this time. I've stayed in the gym, I've watched the fight many times, I've watched Josh's fights, and I've got to go in there and execute it even better and keep pushing forward with it.
Tommy's a big fight fan, saying this half hour has been gripping. There's another one. Sean, huge fight fan. This has been great. I take Taylor, then I take Catterall. I don't really know. But what I do know is
you know what, Josh?
This has been phenomenal. Phil.
Josh, yesterday.
Do we do this?
You
So
said
security man Phil is here. Go on.
Yesterday at the press conference, he said, I'm going to beat you this time. So that again to me, you don't believe you beat me last time. That's what you said yesterday. It was recorded.
Is what I meant to say. Yeah.
Okay. You're mixing your words
So
up.
Doesn't really
before we
matter.
go on
Words up,
YouTube
so
and
what?
Facebook
You don't believe it.
and
So
live
what?
on
Mix the words
talkSPORT,
up, so
Phil,
what?
do you want to try it? I mean, you can stay there or take a step back.
Told you.
Josh, do you want to turn to Jack? And do you want to turn to Josh? Everyone's hoping you'll do this. What about handshake? The last time before.
Listen,
Go on, Jack.
I'm happy to shake his hand. He didn't
Phil,
want to do earlier. So
take a
that's fine.
step back.
That's great.
Come on, Jack.
Happy
The
to shake
king
the
of
guy's hand.
the king of contradiction, because I heard an interview yesterday saying you wouldn't shake me, and I'll shake you, man, no problem.
If you beat me, I'll be the first guy to shake your hand.
You sweating
Because
a lot.
because I'm a straight man. I'm a straight stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Well done, boys.
It's a kind
Well
of
done.
moment. It's a kind of moment we want to capture. Do it again, and I'll capture it right here to prove that it
God's
happened.
sake.
Go on, guys.
You're pushing it, Jim.
Jim, you're
Is it
pushing
not?
it.
Is it not?
You got
Live with line.
We got it. They shook hands. Josh Taylor, I want to thank you for coming in here and keeping it real.
Yep.
And keeping it
Well
well
done, both of
behaved. Yeah, Simon.
done, both
Jack,
of you.
thank you for what you've just done.
No,
and
thank
whoever
you.
wins, let's hope it's well deserved. And let's hope that there's no dubiety about the decision this time around.
I've got a gift for Sam here as well, just before we go.
Jack's manager, he gets
Yeah,
a teddy as well.
That's wee Tadger.
Wee Tadger. For those in Scotland, you all get that one in Scotland. Down here, I'm not sure you get
the
that.
same hairstyle as Sam.
Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall with us live here in the studios of talkSPORT. Danny, thanks as always, mate. Mr. Jordan, I'll see you
There you
tomorrow.
go, mate.
I'll give that to my baby.
Go,
Cheers,
Tadger.
mate.
No bother, mate.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
We'll be back tomorrow at 10.
Jim, thanks, mate.
Thank you, Dan.
Paddy McGuinness done me, man. Light padding up. Paddy, well done.